What's going on? We're back here at ATB. Last week we were questionable and downgraded to out for our week 8 preview. We apologize greatly. This week we're still questionable, but we're here tonight to recap what was a wild weekend of college football where we saw 9 ranked teams suffer losses, which of course will shake up our week 9 top 12 rankings. But obviously we'll get to those later. Big news coming out of Gainesville. We'll get to that here in a second. This is Always Talking Ball. Tyler Nohe, Lance Barton. Real quick, before we get started, make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're tuning in on, YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Make sure you follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And our weekly recap episode is brought to you by Frostbuddy. Frostbuddy.com/ATB is the place to go. They just released some limited edition tumblers and like legacy edition tumblers for a lot of schools. I'm looking to get myself one. They look really sweet, like 40 ounces too. So stay hydrated throughout the day, throughout this winter, all the dry winters, all that stuff. So go frostbuddy.com/ATB, get you some can coolers, get you some tumblers, some good stuff there. Real quick, news out of Gainesville today. Billy Napier is fired, and Lance mentioned, it's quite fitting that if you've listened to our show, we've had many Billy Napier's final stands, last stands, all that stuff. And his final stand was actually this week, and we couldn't even do a pod. We couldn't even talk about it. So obviously you got Florida, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Arkansas, UCLA. And it sounds like there's going to be a lot more openings here in the future. A lot more coaches are kind of checking that phone every couple minutes. And obviously that's going to be a time for, a different discussion for different episodes. So, but yeah, a lot of stuff is opening. Coaching carousel is going to be crazy. We want to talk about the field on the play, however. So let's get to Nashville, man. Let's talk about Vanderbilt beating LSU 31-24 in a game where, Vandy pretty much dominated them. They took it to them from start to finish. Diego Pavia did his thing. The defense did their thing. It's fitting that LSU, obviously, they got their defense figured out for the first half of the season, and then Vanderbilt and, Eli Stowers and Jerry Kill's offense, they just diced them up all day.
They did, man. It was early on in that game. I remember texting you and saying it's hard to believe, man, with the talent that LSU has, that like the overall talent across the board, both sides of the football, that Vandy's just the better football team. And that's not a knock at Vandy. Like, we both have been giving Vandy their flowers for a while now. We've been Diego Pavia respecters for a good minute. Like, we're not one of those. It's like, look at little old Vandy doing the thing. Like, no, that's not how we are here. They're a dang good football team, but it's still it's just crazy to see, man, that the overall talent differential in Vandy was just better. Like, it was very evident of that early on. Like, LSU had to have some crazy, like that little quick screen pass on the sideline or whatever that I think it was Xavier Thomas, whoever broke it loose for like a long touchdown. Like, they had to have stuff like that happen for them to even be in the football game there at the end. Vandy did about whatever they wanted to offensively. Dude, I don't know.
They answered the bell right after that Xavier Thomas touchdown too. Like, that was a backbreaker for that defense, missing tackles. Yep. And then Pavia came out and just let him right down the field, went right back up by 10.
Yep. And dude, I don't know that LSU has ever heard the word contain ever with a dual threat type quarterback.
Yeah.
Like Blake Baker's defense last year, when they had much like worse personnel, like, everybody knows how awful they were last year against dual threat quarterbacks. And how good that LSU's defense has been this year. They've been elite this year. But yesterday there was countless times, man, where they had dudes like getting free blitzers, like safeties and corners blitzing off the edges, Harold Perkins blitzing off the edge, and just having a free run at Pavia. And they're just attacking his, outside shoulder or whatever. Instead, but you should attack his outside shoulder to make Pavia step up into your defense. But they're just crashing down to the inside, and Pavia just like literally easily just goes around him and gets the edge. That happened over and over and over again throughout that game. And man, at this point, LSU had some moments where they actually, with Harlan Berry, actually ran the football like decent here and there. But it's time to go there, because the internet was blowing up after that game about it. And I
Now,
know that everybody gets emotional now. That's like it's worse than it's ever been in college football. And I think that is because that everybody does expect like immediate results because of the transfer portal and NIL. But Brian Kelly's been there now. What is this his fourth year?
fourth year.
Fourth year at LSU. He basically blamed the defense and how it was, but they've had now one Heisman Trophy quarterback under Brian Kelly, and that ridiculous wide receiver core that they had when Jaden Daniels was there, and the best offense in the country while they were there with Mike Denbrock calling plays, but they couldn't stop me and you and 9 others. Now they've got a defense that can go win games and can get you to a championship level. I know they didn't necessarily play their best yesterday. I get that. They had a couple of injuries and whatnot, but still, Vandy did their thing. And now you have your offensive line's terrible. You can't run the football, and you've got an offensive coordinator that everybody in the world thinks is just not any good in Joe Sloan. Like we talked about, dude, a couple of years ago, going from Todd Monken to Mike Bobo, and like what a difference that was going to be for Georgia when in the bigger games, like how big of a step down that was. Like Georgia against some of the weaker opponents, they would take care of business. But in the bigger games against the best opponents and the best defenses, that's where you would notice the Todd Monken deal. Dude, it's not talked about enough at the difference of going from Mike Denbrock to Joe Sloan. And what a step down that looks like it is. Because, dude, there's weapons everywhere. All over that LSU offense. And Nussmeier, I know, is banged up and still, but he's still legit.
Why do you think he's banged up? It's because that offensive line's booty.
Exactly. Yeah, they can't block. I mean, it's really and they've got talented tailbacks. But now they've got a really good defense and a zillion-dollar defensive coordinator, and they can't block. It just, I know, like he's saying, I think he said something about they're keeping receipts, and they'll reveal them after they get to the national championship. I think that was a quote that he had or something that Brian Kelly had. Yeah, I know.
Why? I don't know. I mean, why do people think Vandy with the less talent beat LSU and then thoroughly handled them yesterday? It's all comes down to coaching.
Yeah, I'm honestly, man, I've not been one. I know what you think of BK.
If only someone could have told our listeners out there what was going to happen 3.5 years ago.
I know, man. I know. I'm starting to get more on board with you.
He's just not a great fit. It's just not a fit.
It's really not. Like I'm getting more and more with a lot of these coaches that we're seeing. And we're going to get. We'll talk about this later, but I'm going to bring it up right here, right now. I think maybe we need to have like a good live episode one night this week where we just talk about like anything we want, but like coaches and all the crazy stuff and the chaos going around college football in general. But the right fit and the right hire, not the splash hire, but the right fit and the right hire. I'm not really disagreeing with you, man. Like, I don't know that it's looking more and more like he's just really not the right fit and the right hire. And they've got a chance.
He would be a much better fit at a school like Penn State.
He really would. He really would. Penn State, Wisconsin, something like that. Like a Big Ten school, he absolutely would be a better fit there. But dude, seeing like Tiger Nation.
I was going to ask you how toxic it is down in Baton Rouge right now.
Oh, dude. And all of the like, the big following, like type people, the popular LSU fans that are on, like the Booger McFarlands, the T-Bob that's on the Hey Bear, that's on Barstool, and Daily Joy, SEC Pretty, like a lot of those folks on Twitter they're done. They've had it. And I know fans, that's what the fan in you does when things like this happen. But still, like, there's enough evidence there now, man, that like I texted y'all yesterday. LSU's got A&M coming up. Then they've got Bama at Bama. And I can't remember who else they've got, but I know they've got on the road at Oklahoma too at the end of the year. If they go 7-5, maybe even 8-4. I don't know how, kind of like what we were talking about with Franklin, how that you could go into the offseason and then come back again in the next year where literally the entire fan base. It's not like I have my finger on the pulse of the LSU fan base, but it's pretty simple to see when you're all over social media and you see like literally everything, dude. They are so tired of him. They
Mhm.
just don't like him in general, and the fact that he's not winning games, yeah, it just,
I saw one of them even say, like, he doesn't even make winning games enjoyable.
he dude, but you think about it, it reminded me of when
So funny.
Jim McElwain was at Florida, and they were winning games like 13 to 9, 16 to 13, and Florida fans was like, I mean, yeah, we're winning, but this is miserable to watch. And that's that's kinda what when you watch LSU play, yes, they've got a good defense, but you always leave the game like, I mean, they've got a soon to be starter on Sundays at quarterback, weapons everywhere, and they can't score. And then when they do score, the defense screws up and
Yeah.
gets schooled by Vandy this week. So, uh, I guess it's time to say it since we've had Billy Napier's last stand and final
Oh.
stand. And as you texted, and now his watch is ended, Game of
Yeah.
Thrones reference.
Yeah.
Is it time now that we shift our gaze over to Baton Rouge, Louisiana and say, is it Brian Kelly's last stand?
A lot of people would probably say there's a lot of coaches out there that deserve a last stand before him, but hey, we got to pick someone to ride with, right? But I
Hey,
will tease it right now. I'm going to tease something. I'm going to tease the end of the show. Stay tuned. We've got best bets, and I do have a best bet already on the A&M LSU game. So
okay.
I just want to tease that
Okay.
and
But yeah, but
keep people tuned in.
But let's just say again, let's seriously, they lose to 2, like, I know LSU's got a zillion rivalries because they don't have any other big in-state schools, but dude, if they lose to A&M at home this coming up week, then they go into the bye week, and then they go on the road to Tuscaloosa and they lose to Alabama, yeah, I don't know how. I don't care what his buyout is. I don't know how that fan base is going to allow Scott Woodward and LSU to keep him. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, BK took a shot when he left Notre Dame for LSU, and it's looking more and more likely that it didn't work out. But again, Vandy, props to them. Really good win. They were favored in the game. They got the job done. They really proved to a lot of people, including yourself, that they, they had to go out and show you that they could go out and get it done as a favorite, not like kind of the, person holding the bow and arrow, shooting at the target. They were the target this time, and they held their own. And now they get to host game day this week against Missouri. So should be a good one.
And I'm gonna do better at this from here on out. Anybody listening right now, I told myself I was gonna do better with this, and I'm gonna take my own medicine here, and I messed up just now. I needed to talk more about Vandy in the beginning. The team that won the game, I should have talked about Vandy more in the beginning. But this Vandy team, when you look at what they've got going on right now, if they take care of business this week against Missouri, like I saw a bunch of people on Twitter saying, is it now start time to start talking about Vandy as a legit, actual like playoff threat? And the answer is yes. There's a
Hmm.
reason why I think the AP poll just ranked them in the top 10.
Yeah.
But that team is well coached. They play very fundamentally sound defensively. And I don't know how many times Diego Pavia has to prove people wrong, me included, because I backed LSU in this game. He proved me wrong once again. But dude, that offense is so hard to stop, man. And it's just obvious when you give them extra time to prepare, and Tim Beck, that offensive coordinator, and Diego Pavia and that group extra time to prepare, they're going to get you out of position on defense with all the different motions and misdirections and every eye candy that they give you, and they're going to have success against you.
Yeah.
That's just obvious at this point.
All right, let's talk about a team that you love talking about. That's the Georgia Bulldogs. Um, Georgia goes and they get a 43-35 victory yesterday. They covered that, was it 7.5?
Oh yeah, your boy here was holding a 7.5 point ticket. So I
Yeah,
said, Kirby went out there and got again, man. Why do you the mean machine in red and black, baby? Come on,
yeah. Both defenses were Swiss cheese in this game.
yeah. Defense
Um,
was optional.
but per usual, Georgia just made just a couple more plays, a couple more game-changing plays than their opponent like they usually do.
In
So
the second half and in the fourth quarter.
yeah,
Yeah.
and obviously, it starts with Gunnar Stockton. He played really, really good in the second half. They ran the ball well again. Um, props to Trinidad Chambliss. Was it his first road start in the SEC or like kind of first
Yeah.
big road start in the SEC?
It was his first road start, and it was his first
Yeah.
SEC road start. Uh, and yeah, he played really well, but like late in that game, he started missing some throws.
Mhm.
The
Get a little
announcers were
pressure.
talking about it too. Like Herbie and Fowler were talking about it. Like this is really the first time that you kind of like it looked like I'm not gonna say he was like rattled, but close to it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like dudes were running that Daquan Wright, another transfer from Virginia Tech who's just starting somewhere else, playing really well. He was open a couple of times there late, and early in the game, he was hitting those plays down the field, and he just didn't in the fourth quarter, and didn't there late in the third quarter. He just didn't make the plays he was making on earlier in that game.
Yeah, but again, they got the job done. A couple little barbs exchanged, by Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart, like they usually do. But seems like they're good buddies from the days back on the Alabama staff.
Oh, they're
But
really good friends.
yeah, I mean, and it's kind of the narrative's kind of transitioned now to like, I mean, the Lane Kiffin can't win the big game on the road. Like he won a couple big games last year, beat Georgia last year at home, but it's like now I can't win the big games on the road. It's like, when is it ever going to end for some of these guys? But uh, both teams, again, I still come away every game shocked at how bad Georgia's defense is.
Yeah, it's honestly, man, it's at this point, it's just who they are.
Yeah,
Like they can't rush the quarterback. Their defensive line is just the defensive line is just not what it was. Like they're just, you know, okay. And for Georgia standards. Now, if they were somebody else, we'd be saying them, they're pretty good. They're nothing special. And maybe that's the way to put it. They're pretty good. They're nothing special. They step up late. They step up in second halves and make some plays, but they just can't get pressure on the quarterback. And dude, there were times Georgia was sending six on blitzes, and dude, like you wouldn't see a single red jersey and silver breeches even remotely even close to the backfield. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, I
yeah.
heard Herb Street I think was almost caught on a hot mic saying something like, "They're blitzing again and getting nobody back there," or whatever. Like, yeah, and yeah. Like, there were multiple times that I'm like, "Oh, here they come. They're bringing pressure." And the white jerseys were the only ones you actually even like saw. Like, there's nobody even close to getting in the backfield. And dude, Ellis Robinson at corner. And sometimes, man, he's a liability. He really is. Dude's a liability at times.
A lot of guys in the secondary are liabilities.
Yeah, and
If if
he
if
is.
if Ole Miss had a shred of defense, they could have won that game.
Yeah, they just would do when you can't stop the run. And then it got to the point to where I tweeted out from our Twitter page. By the way, good plug. Go follow us on X at Always Talk Ball. Got a few likes on it when I was tweeted out. I said, I wonder if Ole Miss realizes that tight ends are allowed to run routes and catch passes.
And especially
Because,
Georgia tight ends.
yeah, dude, Lawson Lucky and Oscar Delp are still open. Like they're still running wide open right now. And it was unbelievable. And Stockton had a couple of throws, man. That's like, okay, yeah, that's the real deal. And he's had now 2 games, dude, where the immense amount of pressure on him and Mike Bobo, the play caller, or y'all better go score. You gotta score. Like it's like again, basketball on grass, like make it take it type stuff. Like you better go score. If you don't, then you're gonna lose. And it was one of those games where like Georgia kicked a field goal and Lane Kiffin was over there like, awesome. Yeah, awesome. Like Herbie was like, look at Lane over there. He's fired up. He knows that he's got a win there, holding him to a field goal. That's what that game was like an old school Big 12 shootout, just with better athletes overall. But yeah, Stockton played his tail off, had 4 touchdown passes. He was good in the running game too. Overall, they averaged about a little over 4.5 yards a carry in the game. But again, man, Georgia survives and advances, and just really proud of them for getting that cover as well, holding that holding that 7.5 point ticket that I was holding.
I think they're in really good shape to make the SEC championship game now. I mean, they've
Yeah,
got you talk about how tough their schedule was last year and how like you thought maybe it was going to be just as tough this year. Just kind of flip flopped on the home and away, but now they get Florida, who just fired their coach. They get Mississippi State, which will be a tough out on the road. Mississippi State's playing really well. They get Texas at home, and that's it. They've only got three SEC games left. They've only got one loss on the schedule. Obviously, they got the tiebreak over Ole Miss. I'm not sure how. 3 and 4, team tiebreakers would work in the SEC because of no divisions, and it's just going to be mass chaos because you've got all these teams with 1 and 2 losses. So, but I think they're set up really, really well, having already played 5 SEC games so far.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't disagree with you. Like, I mean, I'm done talking about how the talent that Florida has. They've got tons of talent. I have no idea. Like maybe it's one of those situations like what you're seeing at UCLA that all
Yeah,
of a sudden they step up and start playing really well under whoever the new regime's going to be there. And I saw the
I'm
name.
telling
I
you,
think
man,
the wide receivers coach, the
there's
interim.
something about that because and I pay attention to that every year. Arkansas is playing much better now. Petrino's at the helm.
Yep.
Obviously, UAB got a win yesterday after Dilfer got
Chris
fired.
Mortensen's son. Yeah.
Yeah, and Penn State. I mean, they didn't win the game, but played fairly decent at Iowa for what we know about Penn State right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's something to that. So
Yep.
Florida would be one to watch here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, agreed. And we know the talent that Texas has, but I just at this point they are who they are
Yeah.
offensively. I don't think they're just all of a sudden going to be different at this point offensively. The Horns. But yeah, I don't disagree, man. Georgia looks like they would have to mess up and lose a game as a favorite at this point that they're supposed to win to not make the SEC championship.
Yep.
And to not be a college football playoff team. And for all of the hate, by the way, that Mike Bobo gets, that was a game that if dude, there were many times during that game, dude was in his bag. He called a fantastic game. I think the only play call that I can remember that I was like, good Lord, bro, the halfback pass that they ran with Cash Jones. And by the way, I tweeted out from our page too, find you somebody out there that loves you as much as Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo love Cash Jones. When he comes into the game, I'm like, what? Like, what are they doing? Like, like literally, what is he doing in the game? I don't understand.
He's just
But
great at fundamentals.
I guess, but the halfback pass when Ole Miss literally the defensive line was on skates, that was ridiculous. But yeah, huge win for the Dogs, and of course, Ole Miss, just like in the SEC now with most teams, they go on the road to Georgia, then they have to turn right around now. Now they got to go on the road to Norman, Oklahoma, and play against the Sooners.
Yep.
So another
That's probably an
opportunity.
elimination game right there for
Yep.
SEC terms.
Yep. Agreed.
Third Saturday in October always means Alabama and Tennessee lock up. Alabama wins now its 17th out of the past 19 meetings against the Vols. They get to light up the Stogies. The smoke was in the air in Bryant-Denny Stadium last night. Ty Simpson continues to roll because Alabama can't run the ball. But Ty Simpson continues to roll. Every game I watch him, man, we say it every time. You say it every time. Give him time, and he'll be good. And when they give him time, dude, like he is so accurate. It's so good. I wish we would have stood more preseason. I know you had your thoughts on him. You wanted to keep it, low key because of the fandom and everything, but that would have made us look real good had you been really out loud with those thoughts. So,
Yeah.
the game, though, I mean, honestly, Tennessee, I texted you. I didn't think Tennessee played terrible. It
Me
was
either.
a 16-7 game, and just that play at the end of the first half, obviously, what is the definition of a game changer.
Yep.
But I thought, as far as elite play callers go, and Josh Heupel, in my mind, is an elite play caller. He is great at calling offense. That was one of the most awful, idiotic decisions I have ever seen in my life. And I'm not talking about like to go for like, yeah, you can kick the field goal, go 16-10, you get the ball coming out of the half, whatever. The formation they set up in showed run, right? And Alabama calls timeout. And I was like, okay, like they're gonna come out, shotgun. They come out in the same formation, like all bunch formation, and they run a play action with no timeouts and 9 seconds left. Like Alabama thinks they're gonna run the ball, like, and get stuffed with no timeouts. And then Aguilar, I mean, you can't really soft toss that pass, and you definitely cannot soft toss that pass on the inside because Xavier Brown took it to the house. 23-7 right off the bat. You're talking about, I mean, even if you score on that play, it's 16-14, and then they get a touchdown their first drive of the second half, a completely different game. But props to Alabama's defense for making the stops. My biggest bet of the year was on Alabama minus 8.5. So they cashed for me, getting the 37-20 victory.
Yeah, I think honestly, man, the biggest difference in this football game, outside of obviously that one play there at the end of the first half, was that we're now 4 straight games during this 4-game win streak against 4 ranked opponents where it's not just like Ty Simpson, like you said, is fantastic. And we're talking about like as long as the offensive line gives him time, you're going to have a really tough time stopping them because they've got 4 wide receivers. And if you want to count Rico Scott, who scored a touchdown in the game, they've really got 5 wide receivers plus Cuevas, the tight end. So that's 6 that you're going to have to cover, play in and play out. And the chances of you having enough dudes in the secondary that can prevent somebody from getting open. And Simpson has, as good as he is going through his reads and progressions. And like Todd McShay said, nobody's playing the quarterback position overall like it's supposed to be played, like from everything that you do in the quarterback position, better than Ty Simpson right now. Like Fernando Mendoza is, yes, the numbers and the things he's doing and stuff like that. Yes, obviously an argument can be made there. But being a quarterback and setting the pressures and reading defenses, getting you in and out of different plays, making checks at the line of scrimmage, figuring out what you're doing defensively and taking what the defense is giving you, making the throws down the field, making accurate throws, all of it. All of that's great. But the number one thing I wanted to see in this game that I would have talked about if we'd have had a pod this past week was this. Tennessee led the nation in sacks going into this game. And Alabama's offensive line the last couple of years has been the main problem on offense. And that's 4 games in a row now that this offensive line has played well in the pass blocking game and has protected Simpson. Tennessee leads the nation in sacks. They had 0 sacks in this game, and they only had 4 tackles for a loss total. That right there is the recipe that if that offensive line keeps Simpson upright and gives him time to make plays, dude, they're just seriously, they can beat anybody in the country. Will they beat anybody in the country? I don't know, but they can beat every single team in the country if they do that. And another thing that you have to be excited about for Alabama is Ryan Williams is now starting to heat up and starting to play better ball and starting to join the party there with Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton and Lottie Brooks and that crew. But I agree with you, man, on the running game part. You said it yesterday last night in a text message to me, and it's hard to really argue against it, that Jam Miller is like just a solid, he's a great safety blanket for Ty Simpson. He's great in the pass blocking game. He's great in the passing game in general. He's a really good receiver out of the backfield. He'll hit a run here and there. But, man, against the better defensive fronts, like it honestly looks like he has like 0 vision at all sometimes.
He's just
It's
a
just
fullback out
strange.
there.
And, yeah, dude, and I have the thief of comparison. I'm sitting there with Notre Dame and USC on one TV, and I got Alabama, Tennessee on one, and Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price look like they're playing a different sport compared to Jam Miller. And I know that's the 2 best backs probably in all of college football, so that's probably a tough comparison for Jam. But my point is that I don't think there's a running back controversy at Alabama like they were talking about at the end of the game there. Jam Miller is going to be the starter. He's one of the leaders of the team, and he had a really good game against Missouri the previous week before he got hurt, and he had a really good game against Vandy before that. But I think Daniel Hill needs to find some minutes. And I think he earned that at the end of the game against Tennessee. But what about how many drops did I don't know, but like did it not seem like Tennessee had like 8 drops at the receiver position?
Seemed like they were having trouble holding on to the ball.
Yeah,
Definitely.
they had multiple drops during the game. But yeah, I mean that's Alabama's 4th ranked win in a row. I know we're going to get into it this week and talk about it more, but I want to bring this up. I found this stat. Our boy John Tweet Sports, old Georgia Dog fan. He's actually one of my favorite follows on X. Shout out to you, John. But this is the week. This week is the week for Alabama that, in my humble opinion as a fan, that if I want to see if the Kalen DeBoer era in Tuscaloosa has truly taken a step forward at Alabama. That might seem crazy now that they just won 4 straight weeks of ranked games. But this is the type of game that he, as a coach, has struggled in. And since he's been at Alabama, the most outright losses as a double digit favorite since 2022, 5 Kalen DeBoer, 5 Mario Cristobal, 5 Hugh Freeze. That's the leaders in the entire country.
That's not a group of coaches you want to be associated with.
It's not.
At least on this pod.
No, it's not. So I'm sure it'll come up and guess the spread. There's no way Alabama's not a double-digit favorite in Columbia this week at South Carolina. This is a team that you're much better than. You're a double-digit favorite for a reason. You beat these ranked opponents. This is the game that I want to see if you as a program and as a team and as a coaching staff can get this team ready to play and beat someone's ass that you're supposed to beat. Like
the
that.
Cocks are in ultimate wounded animal mode.
Well, ultimate wounded animal mode.
Wounded cock mode.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know now there's a lot of things debunking Cocktober, but this is now South Carolina season's over as far as making a playoff or anything like that. All they can do is play the spoiler role. And this is the type of game that could make your season if you go out and win. So for Kalen DeBoer and this staff and this Alabama football team, this week will show me if this team and this program has taken the biggest step forward in this new regime. Because these are the types of games that Nick Saban would have never, ever allowed Alabama to lose. There's a reason why he had that crazy record that he did against unranked opponents and favorites and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens this week.
You mentioned earlier, Notre Dame gets the win over USC 34-24. They've now won 7 of the past 8 against the Trojans. You talked about Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love.
Oof.
474 combined all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns just from those two.
2 best running backs in the country, bro. They're the 2 best. Let's just call it. Come on, man. Let's just call it what it is.
If we had a Josh Pate clown nose, we put it on. We didn't put Jadarian Price on our top 12 running backs. We definitely heard about it in the preseason. But yeah, dude, it's amazing what those guys like. Jadarian Price could have easily went to any school in the country, transferred to any school in the country, but staying there and to see those guys both actively like root for each other, but both have the ability to stay fresh throughout the entire season and the game. And then, I mean, they both, by doing that and staying fresh, keep their legs fresh, they both could be first-round picks, first-round running back picks coming up in the NFL draft. But Notre Dame gets another one. They went down 24-21, and then Jadarian Price broke out a 100-yard kickoff return. And I texted every time. That's why you put your best players on special teams, so you can break games open like that. Nick Saban used to do that all the time with Alabama, putting Jalen Waddle out on punt returns, all that stuff. So CJ Carr didn't have his best game. It's definitely the pattern to me, and it's probably good. Notre Dame, they don't have another ranked opponent on their schedule as of right now. Pitt could maybe get there if they win a couple more, but against the 3 best teams, Carr's made some good plays, but he's also made some of those freshman plays like that scramble last night and tossing it up. Not a great play. Oof. And that was a guy who's in his 7th start, right? And so, but he played well enough. I think early on in the game, they realized we're just going to hand it off to these guys, and there's absolutely no way that this D'Anton-led USC defense can stop us.
Yeah, honestly, man, like obviously the running game. I mean, Jeremiah Love was full Superman mode last night. And like, you can just watch him too, dude. Like when he gets into that, like, he seems like he goes into a different mode sometimes. Like he had a whole, like just the emotion, the intensity. He was talking some trash, giving it to dudes on the defense. Like, dude, he was as locked the you-know-what in as you could be as a tailback last night. It was
probably didn't have the sound up on that game, but like, their USC guys were talking trash like in the 3rd quarter or whatever, and Todd Blackledge is just like, "Why are you? This guy's ran for 200 yards on you. What are you doing?"
I actually did have it on at that time. Bama was at halftime, and like I said, I had them on I had the 3 screens going, and I had them on the screen that was on mute, and I watched a ton of it. But yes, at that point, I had it on the main screen And her Blackwood saying that, like, say, like, why are you talking trash to this guy?
Yeah.
Like, he's running all over you. But yeah, he was incredible. But dude, USC's offense, man, is legit. You look at every single offensive efficiency numbers and explosive numbers, all you want to look at all over the country, and USC is up there at the best in the country right now. And holding them to 396 total yards, dude, getting a couple picks against them, like they did. And it also was evident, dude, that USC without their top two tailbacks, I mean, they only ran for 68 yards. So that obviously hurt them. But Notre Dame overall defensively, like against one of the elite offenses, I thought played well considering where they were weeks ago. And I know some people are going to look at this, that watch the game and be like, well, I saw USC still going up down the field a little bit or whatever. Look, I'm not impressed when you go out and shut down Kentucky. Okay. When you hold Lincoln Riley and USC in this offense that they've got this year to 24 points, you've done a hell of a job. That impresses me more than going and holding Kentucky. Like, sorry, I know Kentucky's catching a lot of strays right now, but a team like that to 10
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
So it just Notre Dame is one of, like, from a power ranking perspective, Team A plays Team B on a neutral field. Who are you going to take to win the game? You've got to put your hard-earned money on it. Who do you think is going to win the game? Notre Dame is one of the best teams in the country still, and they lost to two of the better teams in the country earlier
Yeah.
in the year. So as long as they keep winning, they're going to be in the thick of it at the end of the year, and they're absolutely going to be one of those teams that has a chance to win it all. They'll be one of a few. That's another thing I want to talk about this week if we do a live episode
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, Makai Lemon had 4 catches, one of the most, explosive wide receivers in the country. 4
Yeah.
catches, and when Leonard Moore was guarding him, he was targeted 3 times. He had 2 catches for 28 yards.
Yep.
Christian Gray on the other side had a Christian Gray game where he was just getting cooked all night, it seemed like, pass interference, all this stuff. And then he comes up and you look at the stat line, he's got 2 interceptions. It's
Yeah.
just like he did the same thing last year against Penn State, made the game changing play there. He did it he did it last year against USC where he returned 100 yards for a touchdown. So USC's now lost 11 straight games at top 25 teams, and they're 0-6 under Sir Lincoln Riley. He made it a point in his post-game press conference to kind of throw now we're gonna get back into Big Ten conference play. He's doing everything he can to let his bosses know he doesn't want to play this game anymore. He doesn't want to keep losing to Notre Dame anymore. And for all the crap that Heather Dinich gets, she posted something today, kind of her week 8 recap. And she kind of said, I don't have it right in front of me, but it was like, now that he's perfectly fine losing games to Maryland and Illinois and Minnesota every year, he doesn't need higher profile losses like Notre Dame. So, but yeah, I mean, again, it's another game in Eastern time. I mean, the rain didn't help him at all, but they should be used to this travel by now. Like coming east should be nothing to them.
Yeah, I mean, they do it nonstop now in the Big Ten and whatnot. And I know the coaches didn't ask for this and whatever, but this is what happens when the super conferences got together and the Big Ten decided to add the squads on the West Coast like that. I mean, you're going to get these awful travel games. You're going to get these games where Washington's traveling to Ann Arbor and playing at 11 o'clock Central, 12 noon. And it's ridiculous, man. And I really hope this game doesn't go away.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff that separates college football from other sports. The rivalry, the pageantry, seeing the emotion in that crowd last night and how amped up both of those teams were, the trash talking. I mean, that's awesome, man. It's awesome competitive type spirit that you like to see on a football field. Like after the game, USC going into their locker room, I saw the video on Instagram and Twitter and whatnot of Notre Dame fans giving it to the USC players and USC players giving it right back to them. I mean, dude, college football rivalries, man, it's the best.
Yeah.
It really is.
Real quick, before we get to our top 12, let's talk a little bit about a couple of top 10 teams losing to unranked teams real quick. Miami on Friday night lost to Louisville as the 11.5-point favorites. I believe it closed at. It was up at 13.5, 14 earlier in the week. Louisville won 24-21. And we got, I'll say, in my opinion, we got vintage Carson Beck on Friday night.
So we got bad. I was gonna say we got bad Carson Beck. Yeah, and I'd figure, yeah, in your words, vintage Carson Beck. Yeah, we got the bad version of Carson Beck in that game. No question about it. And I, just like I thought everybody would, everybody jumped all over him, and acts like now that he can't play the quarterback position anymore. But I mean, we'll see how he bounces back from this. There's a lot of people out there that think he's mentally weak and things like that. I'm not one of them, but a lot of people do. But we'll see how he bounces back from that, because that's it's a tough loss, man. I mean, that was pretty much, when you look at their schedule, that was really that game, and I guess maybe at Pitt at the end of the year are really the only two that you look at and say that, like, you think Miami would even have a chance with as much talent and as good as they are on the line of scrimmage, that they would even be able to slip up and lose. But that's a tough loss, man. No
Well,
doubt. And
we
big
we
game
talked about
Brom.
we talked about their scheduling dynamics, about how they played like one game in 20 days. So maybe
Yeah.
that had a little bit to, do with them starting off in a 14-0 hole. But again, that was their first of 7 games to end the regular season, right?
Yep. Yep.
And possible ACC championship game being an 8th. So there's no breaks from here on out.
Uh-uh.
That was a game we were expecting them to win. I mean, they're favored in the rest of their games even still.
Yeah, they were
Uh,
13-point favorites in that game. I think it went off at like 11 or 12,
yeah.
but
Yeah. So
uh,
there's no more margin for error, because again, it's another conference that's so tightly packed. Like Georgia Tech's still undefeated, SMU still undefeated in the conference. Like, you can't. I mean, I don't know if a Miami team at 10-2 with no conference championship game gets in. And again, that hurts Notre Dame, right? Because you look at the head to head. That's what they're going to go back on, who won that game head to head if Notre Dame's 10-2. So Notre Dame kind of needs Miami to win out, and win the ACC championship game. They don't want to go head to head of them against them in the at large pool. But yeah,
yeah,
like you mentioned, the big game Brom, dude, all he does is beat top 5 teams. I mean, he did it at Purdue. He does it at Louisville. It's just, you got to watch him now. He's going to might come out and lose to a Virginia Tech or BC or whoever they're playing. But yeah, he just, again, in the big games, he gets it done.
he does, man, and he's great at scheming up his best players. Him and Brian Brom are just they're they do an incredible job, man, in these big games. Like you said, the top 5 matchups. But Miller Moss was fantastic. He didn't throw any picks. Isaac Brown had 15 carries for 113 yards in the game. Their best receiver, Chris Bell, had 9 catches for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. They only had 1 fumble in the game, 1 turnover period in the game. That's when the other team throws you multiple picks like Beck did. That's a recipe for you to be able to win, man. Their best player stepped up in the biggest game, and Miami's didn't. That was really the difference in the game.
Talking about best players stepping up, man. Sam Levitt does it again.
Yep.
He comes through for us on ATB as another upset alert hits. I know we didn't do an episode, but I put out a video this weekend. That was my upset alert. Arizona State for the second week in a row. And Sam Levitt actually played this time. So we got good Sam Levitt. We got good Kenny D. We got a field storming in Tempe. They take down the previously dominant Texas Tech Red Raiders 26-22. And if you're a Red Raider fan, I'm sure you're saying, I guess Baron Morton wasn't too bad. I guess Will Hammond maybe isn't better than Morton. So hopefully Morton comes back healthy. But that was one of the games, too, we looked at in the preseason that Texas Tech could have tripped up there. Kansas State's another one that, again, on its face now doesn't look great because Kansas State's not having a great year. But, again, Big 12 play, 3 and 4 point games. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, both defensive fronts, by the way, played their tail off. Neither team ran the football well. Both defensive lines kind of dominated, but the difference in the game really was, you just said it. One team had Sam Levitt at quarterback and the other didn't. That was the difference in the game. Levitt went for over 300 yards in the game and made huge plays there towards the end. I can't believe Texas Tech there at the very end turned that game into what it turned into.
Yeah.
It looked like they were about to win, but again, Levitt and that offense had ball in hand there at the end with a chance to win, and they did it. And it still came down to that a Hail Mary there in the end zone, and it was close, dude.
Yeah.
It was close. Couple of the Red Raiders got their hands on the ball there, but a huge win for Arizona State and the Fun Devils to stay squarely in the hunt and squarely in that dead in the thick of it in that Big 12 championship race. and it's as wild as we all thought it would be. There's so many teams that have a excellent shot still to win that thing and to get a college football playoff berth. And your guess is as good as mine at this point, who that's going to be. But dude, I can tell you a team I'm not counting out, and that's Sam Levitt and Arizona State. They just
Mhm.
find ways to win, and you better not get to the fourth quarter with them with a chance to win. That's just they did it against TCU, they did it against Baylor, now they did it against Texas Tech. They're a handful and they're a problem, no doubt.
All right, let's get to our week 9 top 12 rankings. We were all over the board, both of us in our rankings, and we were 4 spots off here, 3 spots off here.
I think everybody's going to be
Obviously,
that way, bro.
yeah, and as we always do, we average them out, and this comes out to our consensus rankings. If you want to check out a broader ranking, we do our all podcasters poll that Walk on Moose puts out on Tuesdays, I believe. And we've got a good, 12, 13 people in that. It's not quite as many as the AP, but we all watch ball like we think we watch ball and no ball and all that stuff. So um, you do the odds, I'll do the evens. How about that?
All right, I'll go with odds. All right, so number
Okay.
one, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They dominate poor little Wisconsin. Luke Fickell is definitely one of those that's on that list, by the way, of possibles that
Yep.
could be let go here any second, any day, any time now. But the Buckeyes, I know that people may want to argue with this. Jordan Tyson at Arizona State would absolutely put up a great fight against it. But just like I said, Notre Dame has the 2 best tailbacks in the country. I think Ohio State has the 2 best wide receivers in the country. Carnell Tate, dude, that catch he made in the back of the end zone, just nuts, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But him and Jeremiah Smith are the 2 best wide receivers in the country. Julian Sayin is playing the quarterback position. I know he's got all the talent around him, and I
Mhm.
know that the play calling and the system he gets to run. This is to me that there's more than one thing that can be true. The system that he's running is elite. He's got elite playmakers around him, and the competition that he's playing against in some of these games don't stand a chance against the athletes and the players that he's throwing it to, and that he's got around him on offense. And his defense just literally doesn't even hardly give up a yard, much less a bunch of points. But dude, he's playing the quarterback position as efficient as you possibly can play it. And he's doing exactly what you need him to do for the Buckeyes to be a championship team again, which is don't turn the football over, just be a point guard and get the dang football in your playmakers' hands. And then when we call on you to take some shots and to make some big time throws that we need you to make down the field, he's making them. So he's playing the quarterback, and he's supposed to be good. Again, he was 5-star, one of the top quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school, and he's playing that position really well. But yeah, the Buckeyes are just taking care of business week in and week out, man.
Number 2, the Indiana Hoosiers. No, this is not basketball. This is football. The Indiana Hoosiers coming in number 2. Personally, I had them at number 1. I think that their resume is better. I think Ohio State's best win just got taken to overtime by Kentucky. Again, another stray for Kentucky, but that's Indiana's best win just took Rutgers to the woodshed, as a 18-point favorite. They whooped them up by like 52 or something like that. So, which again only turns to make the power ratings better for Indiana, but they went out there, kind of a little sketchy at first, kind of a little bit of a hangover from the Oregon game, but ultimately took care of business 38-13. They were in position to cover. Jonathan Smith kicks a field goal there at the end of the game. And, I mean, we talk about it all the time. These guys know the spread and
Yes, they
everything. Like,
do.
there's no other reason why you kick a field goal there. And Siggs has always got that glare on his face where he's just kind of looking up and he's not even like smiling, nothing. He's looking at it as they're attempting the field goal, and he's just like, I was gonna have another spread cover here. I was gonna cover one for those boosters that just gave me that $90+ million extension, but couldn't get it done. But nonetheless, they got the job done. They get UCLA this week. Upstart UCLA. Big noon kickoff's going to be in Bloomington. So it's a 9 a.m. local kick for UCLA. That was a game you really weren't worried about, a month ago. And I still wouldn't be too worried about it if I was Indiana, 24.5-point favorites or so. But yeah, things are looking up in Bloomington, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And yeah, that was wild there at the end of that stuff with the point spread, no doubt. At number 3, we've got Alabama. Alabama 4 straight weeks in a row with wins against ranked opponents and wins against teams that are power rated high too. They're just again
Now,
they're playing.
you had Alabama 4 and A&M 3. Did I talk you off that? Did I convince you that Alabama was better than A&M?
No, I mean, I just think that the argument, absolutely, dude. Like, I know my fandom and whatnot, but I'd be saying the same thing if A&M had the 4 week stretch that Alabama just had. Nobody's had a better 4 week stretch in this season than Alabama just had. So again, I'm more worried about what they're going to look like as a double digit favorite against South Carolina than what they have these last 4 weeks. But again, Ty Simpson, the Alabama passing game, is playing really well. Defensively, they're doing enough on defense, and they've got to I mentioned this to you the other day. The thing with Alabama right now is they're actually not like, yes, I know they just won 4 games against 4 ranked opponents, but they haven't peaked yet. They've got like younger guys that are slowly working their way into the lineup basically full time, like Michael Carroll, the #1 interior offensive lineman in the country coming out of high school this past year, true freshman that started at right tackle this last week. He's been playing since the bye week. Dejon Lee at corner, true freshman. Michael Carroll, right tackle, true freshman. Lottie Brooks at receiver, true freshman. They've got a bunch of different guys that are young guys that are starting to play more and more and more. Ron Williams is getting healthier so far through each week. Like, they haven't peaked yet. So this is a team that is going to continue to get better week in and week out. A guy like Yanze Pierre, who was Alabama's best pass rusher last night, played really well coming off the edge for them. Like, he hasn't played a ton up until this year. So with the 4 week stretch that they've had, it's hard not to, man, resume wise, to look at it. If you want to be one of those, well, if they got 1 loss and the team you're about to mention's got 0 losses, okay, that's your prerogative to think that, and I can't help you. And I understand. I understand where you're coming from on it. But Alabama's got a better resume at this point. So that's why we have them at 3.
At number 4, we do have Texas A&M, and they got by. Arkansas got the backdoor cover on them yesterday, but it's 45-42 against the Petrinos and down there in Fayetteville. But they got the job done. They're 7-0, I think, for the first time in a long time. It's the first time in a long time. Just know that Mike Elko's got it rolling down there. They've got a really, really big matchup at a place they haven't won at in a long time, down in Baton Rouge, this Saturday night. So that should be a good one.
Yes, it should. Number 5, your favorite saying, who's that coming down the track? The mean machine in red and black, the Georgia Bulldogs at 5. Good win over Ole Miss. The Fighting Mike Bobos got it done on offense, and Gunnar Stockton played his tail off. It was basketball on grass, an old school Big 12 shootout between Ole Miss and Georgia, and they took care of business, got the cover. That's 2 really solid wins for the Dogs this year now against Ole Miss, and again on the road earlier this year in Knoxville, where Tennessee just never loses at home unless they play Georgia. So we've got the Georgia Dogs at number 5.
At number 6, we got the Oregon Ducks. As I mentioned, they got a 56-10 victory over Rutgers, where they racked up 750 total yards. The only thing impressive about this is they went East Coast after that loss to Indiana, and traditionally teams have struggled with that, and it wasn't ever even in doubt, which, again, when Oregon's playing teams like Rutgers and when Ohio State's playing teams like Wisconsin and, stuff like that, the games should never be in doubt. That's the bottom line. Oregon is still a really good team in our opinion. I don't think their resume is as good as other teams, but I just think that they're still a very good team, and they've got a really good loss on their schedule.
Yep, at number 7, we've got the Miami Hurricanes, the U. Still got a solid resume, but obviously they took their first L Friday night against Big Game Brom in the Ville. We just talked about it a minute ago. Louisville's best players, Chris Bell, Isaac Brown, Miller Moss, they all stepped up and played really well. And Miami's Carson Beck, they got the bad version of Carson Beck in that game, and he just kept giving the other team the football. And it's hard to overcome that. But Miami, you look at their schedule at SMU. I think they've got coming up in a couple of weeks. That won't be easy. And I think they go to, like I said, last game of the regular season at Pitt. You remember last year where they went on the road and lost at Syracuse at the end of the year. Those are, I mentioned the Pitt game before the season started. That just had just trouble spelled all over it. That's really the two games that you circle on Miami's schedule that if they're going to find another L somewhere and have their season ruined, it would be one of those two games.
Yeah. At number 8, we do this every year, man. We do this with the same team. We do it every year. We overlook them every single year.
Yep.
And number 8, we got the BYU Cougars. Kalani Sitake, I mean, he just gets the job done. Like, he might be in the same exact state. He might be the new Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
Like, he might be like, they just continue to defy odds. Like, the power rating is never there. It wasn't even there for them last year as far as like
Yeah.
how good they were with Jake Retzlaff. And now they got a true freshman they trotted out there at quarterback this year. They had Retzlaff transfer, 2 months before the season started. And you're like, oh, shoot, well, there goes the season. Like, they're going to be 6-6, 7-5. Like, no, they're undefeated. They just were 3.5 point, and I think it got up to like 5-point underdogs against Utah. And they went in there and it was really never in doubt either. Like, they took care of business against Utah, against Devin Dampier, against Kyle Whittingham. So we got BYU at number 8. I'm not sure they can keep it going, a la last year, you know. But right now, I mean, I think the resume speaks for itself, and the strength of record, which is 5th, according to ESPN, speaks for itself that they've crept up into our top 12 now.
Yeah, Bear Bartmeier's playing solid, dude. And that running game, running the football, and that defense is just nasty, dude. So, yeah, they're
As always.
just solid, man. Kalani Sitake's got it rolling. You're right. He's a G, man, no doubt. Number 9, we've got Hotty Toddy, Ole Miss. They still got you may not think it's that great of a win anymore, but still got a solid win over LSU. And a win that later in the year, I heard someone mention this the other day, that if Ole Miss is going to be in playoff contention, a win that could end up making them look pretty good that you may not have thought before the year is a dominant win over Tulane.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year. And Tulane just, they unbelievable how they found a way to win that game against Army, but they could be your G5 representative in the playoff. They're right in the thick of it there with a couple other teams in the American. And don't look now. The boys in Boise are starting to creep back into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to creep back into the picture. Memphis losing to UAB. That's another thing I want to talk about if we talk about on Tuesday night or Wednesday night, whatever this week. But yeah, Ole Miss, they've got it's the Georgia game, this is their biggest game of the year coming up. On the road at Oklahoma, both of these teams. Like, this is a must-win game. You look at Oklahoma's schedule, what they've got still left on their schedule the rest of the year. They need to hold serve at home, especially right now. If they don't win this game, they're not out of it, but it'd be tough sledding for them with what they've got left. And if Ole Miss can get this one, and you look at the rest of their schedule, Hotty Toddy might be staring at a playoff bid.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
They've been known to lose games they shouldn't lose in the past.
Yeah, agreed. That's a good point. Yeah, they almost did that 2 weeks ago against Wazoo.
Yeah.
How about Wazoo, bro? Wazoo going on the road to Ole Miss and going to UVA, just punching up, giving people a fight, covering.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, keep it rolling.
Number 10, we got Georgia Tech. Went into Durham yesterday as an underdog and a 3.5 point underdog. Got the 9-point victory over the Devils. I gave out Duke 1.5. You gave out Duke money line, and then I saw it creep up to 3.5, and I was like, "It's gonna be a tight game. Like, that's just way too much." But like, Brent Key is an underdog. Like, if it had been 3.5 last week, just know I would have given out Georgia Tech plus 3.5.
I saw that Action Network notification come up, said at Tyler_Nohe, whatever, yeah. Georgia Tech plus 3.5. I was like, yeah, don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too many points for Brent Key. And again, he proved it once again in the underdog role. And they're 7-0 now. They've got, I believe, 4 ACC games left, 3 or 4 ACC games left because they got Georgia at the end. So, again, they're in the driver's seat, especially with Clemson faltering. Now Miami has a loss. I think them and SMU, I think, are the only undefeated teams as of right now. Maybe Virginia. Virginia's lost to NC State.
Virginia lost to NC State.
But it was out of conference, right? Or like a non-conference game?
I don't think so.
I think it might have been a non-conference game.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't know that. Louisville's no, Louisville lost to UVA. Pitt is
Yeah,
Pitt.
UVA's 3-0 in conference. They counted that as a non-conference game, similar to like the Arizona Kansas State game.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so those 3 teams are undefeated in conference right now. But
Okay.
again, Georgia Tech, driver's seat. I
Yeah.
had them in the preseason going into the ACC championship game, so I'm hoping they can make me look pretty smart. And our guys over at Six Pack GT can give us more collabs on IG.
We love us some Jackets fans, man. They
Yeah.
love us too. Shout out to Six Pack GT, no doubt.
Yep.
Uh, Number 11, Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma.
This
They
is where
went
we
in.
differed.
Do what?
This is where we differed.
Yeah, I don't even remember where I had Oklahoma.
You had them
Uh,
lower than Vandy.
I did. I did.
And,
That
and
was
spoiler alert, number 12 is Vandy. So we can go ahead and talk about both of them right
okay.
now.
Yeah, 11 Oklahoma, 12 Vandy. Honestly, man, I think it was more just resume wise, and it's not like something that's I didn't think it was egregious by any means. Uh, I mean, Oklahoma's best win would be Michigan, and Vandy's best wins LSU. I don't know that there's some huge difference at this moment between LSU and Michigan,
Mhm.
so that's probably not, And then I guess too, Vandy's loss was to who we've got ranked, number 3 in the
Yeah.
country, and Oklahoma kind of got their cheeks clapped by Texas there, in the second half. But it's not egregious or anything, man. I just felt like that. But like, if you just think that Oklahoma is better than Vandy, don't don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, that Oklahoma defensive front is as good as there is in the country. There's a couple of other, like Ohio States and others that are also right there with them, really good. John Mateer, if he continues to get healthier and healthier with that hand and that thumb each week, that offense is going to be better. I think you texted during the South Carolina game early, like leave it to South Carolina to let Oklahoma find their running game.
Mhm.
They definitely ran the ball a little bit better in that game than they had all year. But I mean, that Oklahoma defense is going to be able to keep them in every single game. And if John Mateer stays healthy, they're going to be right in the thick of it. But this is you said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, must win game, man, at
Mhm.
home against Ole Miss. It's going to be a really good football game. Would I let I'm not being prisoner of the moment. Easily the best offense that
Oh yeah.
Oklahoma has seen this year.
I can't wait to watch Venables go up against Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin.
Agreed. Agreed. That's going to be a fantastic matchup, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. Uh, but uh, but yeah, that's going to be a big one this week in Norman.
Yeah. Number 12 was Vandy. Like we mentioned, they get the big win over LSU, and they've got game day coming to town this week to play Missouri.
How about
So
that?
to roll out the top 12 once again, we got number 1, Ohio State, number 2, Indiana, number 3, Alabama, number 4, Texas A&M, number 5, Georgia, number 6, Oregon, number 7, Miami, number 8, BYU, number 9, Ole Miss, number 10, Georgia Tech, number 11, Oklahoma, number 12, Vanderbilt. Stay
Hey,
tuned. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say screw the AP poll, man. Let's don't even talk about it. Let's go on to everybody's favorite game and go to guess the spread.
Yeah, we won't talk about AP poll, but yeah, stay tuned for the All Podcasters poll coming out later this week. Yeah, let's finish out. I'll give you some early week 9 betting lines, and I teased it earlier in the episode. I got a couple best bets I want to give out for numbers that I already saw out there. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's start off with that game we were talking about. It's a noon kickoff in Norman, 11 a.m. local time. Ole Miss at Oklahoma.
Ooh, let's go Sooners minus just the old home field advantage. Sooners minus 3.
Sooners -4.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of love there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Kiffin and Weiss scheme up against that defensive front, that active defensive front for the Sooners.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting to watch.
I actually mentioned this one earlier. I'm not sure if you caught it, but UCLA at Indiana, big noon kickoff.
Yeah, I do remember because honestly, when you said it, I was like, I wonder if this will be on guess the spread. Did you say
Yeah,
20? Did you say 24 and a half?
24.5 IU.
Hoosiers just laying boatloads against everybody now, dude. Unbelievable.
All right, college game day. We just talked about it. Missouri at Vanderbilt.
Hey, how about Diego Pavio? Like on game day, I'm not sure if you caught it. They did that thing where they had the earpiece
Yeah,
in and he was talking to the game day crew. And when Saban asked him a question, I for sure thought Diego was going to mention the old soundbite from last
yeah,
year about the easiest place to play. But no, it was pretty cool when he said, well, "Hey there, Mister Legendary," whatever. Like he said, that was pretty cool moment there.
yeah,
But I guess he'll definitely get to meet
yeah,
Saban this coming up week. I'm sure that they'll be arranging that on game day after what
yeah.
happened there. But I'll say Vandy again, the old home field advantage. Vandy minus 3.
Vandy minus 2.5, which is what they were this past week against LSU. So, I mean, like, I don't know whether or not you agree with it. LSU, Missouri, same exact power rating. Take it for what it's worth.
I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, Mizzou and LSU on a neutral field right now would be a hell of a football game.
Yeah. Illinois traveling to the Pacific Northwest to play Washington.
This was one of them, Tyler, that I told you before. I said there's a couple of games and I'm interested to see what the line is. Again, the old home road dichotomy, the Washington Huskies. They're unbelievable at home and booty on the road most of the time. I'll say the Huskies minus 6.
Washington minus 4.
Washington minus 4.
You making it a best bet?
Is Illinois coming off a bye?
Yes.
Not yet, but it'll probably. I might as well, but I'm not going to yet because I mean
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to keep me off of it by the next episode. But yeah,
Yep. Texas going on the road once again, third week in a row at Mississippi State.
Texas at Mississippi State. Texas, okay, they were like 13, I think, over to Kentucky, probably a little less than that.
Yeah, it was like 12.5 against Kentucky because that's
I'll
what I
say,
had Kentucky at.
yeah, I'll say Texas minus like 10.
Texas minus 6.5.
Look at Levy and the boys getting some serious respect. That might be one of the. I don't know that I've been around 4 points off on any game this year. Look at
Well,
that.
in my mind, you're saying Texas minus 10. In my mind, I'm like, well, you should bet Texas then. If you think they're 10 points better, you should bet Texas, right?
Some of these, man, it's not necessarily what I would do. It's what I'm trying to be right more than say what I would do.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would probably have it like if I'm setting the line on the game, I'd probably have it like 7.5, something like that. So that's closer to where. But I guess again the difference in Kentucky and Mississippi State. Dude, I did not have it on my bingo card that we were just going to be taking a belt to Kentucky's butt on this episode. How many strays that this Mark Stoops and the Wildcats are just
Yeah.
catching strays left and right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that this tells us how bad Kentucky is
They're
overall.
the new Purdue.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, seriously, like I mean, State's
Yeah.
solid. They really are. Levy and
Yeah.
Mississippi State's a solid squad, but that is a drastic difference, man. That's a 7-point difference.
Mhm.
Like Texas, I think was like 13 and a half, and only six
Yep.
and a half in Mississippi State. Okay, Jeff
Yep.
Levy,
Yep.
I see you.
Saturday morning, the old Tyler Noe jinx reared its ugly head, calling my shot for game day in week 9.
My in-laws are real excited about that. Don't
Yeah.
worry, I texted him before the game and said if Memphis can South Florida take care of business.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law was not thrilled about that, I don't think. Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably the game of the year in the American. Probably the game that's going to decide, who one of the teams is going to be in the American Conference Championship. But it's USF at Memphis.
God, Memphis is so good at home. There's no way USF's not favored. I'll say USF 3.5. South Florida 3.5.
Currently, it is USF minus 2.5.
Okay. Up until this past week, Memphis was
Sorry,
one of
USF minus 3.5. You're right.
they're 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, USF better be careful here, bro. Memphis is so good at home, and they've been one of the best teams in the country against the spread. That was just Nap City, man, against UAB. Sleeper City there in that game.
Yep.
But go ahead.
All right. We just talked about them. Big win. BYU going on the road at Iowa State.
This was the other one that I was looking at. That I did not look at the line, but I told you that I was curious because I'm pretty sure the Clones are off a bye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And off back-to-back road losses, if I'm not mistaken. Phew. Spot game. Ew. Is Iowa State -1?
Iowa State minus 2.5.
How many times am I going to try to beat BYU, bro, and just get crushed? How
Yeah.
many times?
Yep.
But hey, first best bet of the week, Iowa State -2.5. I'm just going to do it.
Okay.
I'm going to try to beat BYU again. Coming off the Holy War, big rivalry.
Yep.
Iowa State back-to-back road losses, bye week in Ames. Yeah, give me the clones. I'll take Iowa State -2.5. First best bet of the week.
I am right there with you. That's one of my best bets.
Okay.
Go ahead and give it out. Iowa State, but I was able to snag him at +1.5.
God,
So it's already moved. That's what it opened up at.
see what I do,
'Cause
man, for guess the spread. If I sit here and wait just so I can sit here and do this, and I'm losing line value, bro. You think
losing
my
4
boy would
points
not
of
like
line
would
value.
not let me do that, but that's okay. All right, go ahead.
Losing 4 points. But yeah, I took him. I mean, BYU lost at home to Kansas last year after coming off the Holy
Yeah,
War. So they were
yeah,
9-0 at that time.
yep.
So, all right, you mentioned Alabama at South Carolina.
2 touchdowns. Bama 14, 13.5, 14.
13.5.
Okay.
Yep.
I really have not looked at it. I just figured it'd
Yep.
be around 2 touches.
And then Texas A&M at LSU to finish us off.
This is wounded animal back against the wall mode if you've ever seen it. Oh, man. Will Vegas make LSU a
At
dog?
night, 7:30 kick, 6:30 local. Tiger Stadium at night.
All right. I'm going to do not what I think Vegas would do. I'm going to do what I would do in this one. And I would favor LSU by like literally almost a pick 'em. I'll say LSU -1, close to a pick 'em.
Vegas currently has it at Texas A&M -2.5. So that leads us right into early bets. I mentioned Iowa State. I'm gonna do it, man. We're gonna start the train here with Brian Kelly's last stand. I'm gonna back BK and the Tigers right now. I'm gonna take LSU on the money line at
You and
plus
BK should get a room,
122.
man.
I'm gonna take LSU on the money line plus 122.
Money line.
Money line straight up. They're winning this game, backs against the wall. They cannot afford to lose it, or they are not going to the playoffs this year, and he's going to be in bad shape. So they got to get it done. A&M has not won in Baton Rouge since 1994. They've lost 6 straight games there, over 30 years. So I think LSU gets it done at night. I'm taking Vandy -2.5. I'm not going to let this go again. Like, I didn't bet them against LSU, even though I was confident they were going to win, and they made me pay for it. Like, I wasn't able to add funds to my account. I'm going to take them -2.5 over a Missouri team that I watched against Alabama and that I watched against Auburn. I think Vanderbilt's defense can do really well against that Missouri offense. And then one more for me. Again, let's going to attack the SEC wounded coaches, and I'm going to take Arkansas on the money line -102 to beat Auburn and to most likely put Hugh Freeze and the Auburn fans out of their miseries. Arkansas has been really close since Petrino took over. They've had 2 covers against Tennessee and Texas A&M, really, really good teams. Auburn is not a good team.
Nope.
They're not a good team. They haven't scored more than 20 points in an SEC game yet, or 17 points, something like that.
And they better
They
score
probably
this
will.
week.
They probably will against Arkansas, but against I think Arkansas, I think Petrino gets it done there in Fayetteville. So I got 4 best bets right now.
Love it, bro. Look at that. 4 best bets right out of the gate. I got 1 with Iowa State. And I task any of you just to Google Bobby Petrino and Auburn. There's a
Yeah.
lot of history there. So this would be kind of fitting for this to be the final nail in Brother Hugh's coffin if it's old Bobby Petrino that delivers it. Goes back to the Tommy Tuberville days with sending planes to go try to bring Bobby Petrino back to Auburn and stuff, and trying to get him to be the Auburn coach in the past. So this would be pretty fitting that Petrino is the interim coach that could put the nail in Brother Hughes' coffin as the Auburn coach. That would be, yeah, that would be pretty fitting.
Yep.
Good stuff, though, man. That was fun.
All right, that's it for us. We will be back this week,
Yes.
barring extenuating circumstances. We'll be back this week for a Week 9 preview. We talk about a couple games. We may even touch on, some of our preseason predictions, some of the stuff you talked about. We may hop on a live, on one of our socials, TikTok, Instagram, X. Go follow us on there. We may hop on a live there. Apple, Spotify, YouTube is where we put all of our shows on. Appreciate you guys following as usual. We're 8 weeks through the season. It's been fun so far. It's been wacky. I think it's going to get crazier here in the last week of October, and November is going to be wild. CFP rankings come out in a couple weeks. We're doing live shows then. So stay with us. For Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Nohe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.